Hey everyone, how's it going? Matthew Kadish here, author of the Earthman Jack Space Saga, and got some news for you science fiction fans here today, and that is that the Orville is moving from Fox to Hulu. And this was announced by Seth MacFarlane during San Diego Comic-Con that the Orville is no longer going to be on free broadcast TV. Instead, it is going to be on a paid streaming service. And there are a lot of reasons for this, but we're going to unpack that as we go through the video. So we are over on Variety.com, and they have an article here kind of detailing what's going on. So let's just read through this. Seth MacFarlane's The Orville is on the move. MacFarlane announced Saturday at the show's San Diego Comic-Con panel that Season 3 of the sci-fi series will air exclusively on Hulu rather than on Fox as it has for the first 2 seasons. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, MacFarlane's current workload and the length of time it takes to finish work on the show's numerous special effects sequences would have meant that Season 3 would not have been ready for a mid-season debut. New episodes are now expected to launch on Hulu at the end of 2020. The streamer currently has the first 2 seasons available for subscribers. The Orville has been a labor of love for me, and there are 2 companies which have supported that vision in a big way. 20th Century Fox Television, where I've had a deal since the start of my career, and Fox Broadcasting Company, now Fox Entertainment, which has been my broadcast home for over 20 years, MacFarlane said in a statement. My friends at the network understood what I was trying to do with the series, and they've done a spectacular job of marketing, launching, and programming it for these past 2 seasons. But as the show has evolved and become more ambitious production-wise, I determined that I would not be able to deliver episodes until 2020, which would be challenging for the network. So we began to discuss how to support the 3rd season in a way that worked for the show. It's exactly this kind of willingness to accommodate a show's creative needs that made me want to stick around for so long. I am hugely indebted to Charlie Collier and Fox Entertainment for their generosity and look forward to developing future projects there. And to my new friends at Hulu, I look forward to our new partnership exploring the galaxy together. The Orville is a live-action 1-hour drama set 400 years in the future that follows the USS Orville, blah, 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 blah. It's produced by 20th Century Fox Television and MacFarlane's Fuzzy Door Productions. And then I'm just going to skip that part, and I'm going to get to this part here because this is somewhat relevant. In the wake of 21st Century Fox-Disney merger, 20th Century Fox Television became part of the Disney empire, while Fox Entertainment became part of the standalone entity Fox Corp. Shortly after the merger closed. It was announced that Disney would assume full operational control of Hulu, and that within 5 years, Comcast has agreed to sell its stake in Hulu to Disney for at least $5.8 billion. Okay. So, let's walk through this. Basically, in Seth MacFarlane's announcement, now there are 2 aspects to this news. First, there's the industry-oriented business aspect of it, and then there's also the creative aspect of it. And from all the announcements that I've read concerning this news, it would seem that Seth MacFarlane's justification for doing this is that he wasn't going to be able to meet the deadline for a mid-season premiere. Because first of all, they didn't find out that they were getting renewed until May, I believe, which was just a couple months ago at the time of this recording. So to have this show ready for a mid-season premiere with that small amount of time, and the reason it took so long was because of the Fox-Disney merger that was going on with Disney buying out Fox. So a lot of stuff was kind of up in the air, and they didn't hear about it till late. So basically, they were under a crunch. MacFarlane had a lot of ambitious stuff he wanted to do for Season 3, just in terms of special effects and production value and things of that nature. And he wasn't going to be able to meet that deadline with everything he wanted to do. And so rather than have like a huge gaping hole for a single year, 2019, in their broadcasting schedule, it was decided that the show would basically be moved to Hulu, where it could basically premiere at any point it wanted to premiere at, and Fox could then fill that programming space that was scheduled for the Orville with something that could be consistently relied on. And the interesting aspect of this is that there's actually some wonky kind of Hollywood entertainment business stuff going on here. But before I get to that, I'm actually going to kind of cover the creative aspect of this. So basically, Seth MacFarlane, he took to his Twitter account, and he was very excited about this news. He thinks it's a good thing that the Orville is moving to Hulu. And part of that is because it just frees him up a little bit more creatively. If we go through his tweets here, so he's replying to this one tweet that says, "Love the series is moving to Hulu, allowing for longer, content-rich quality episodes. The best of the series to date have been the more cinematic, dramatic, and character-driven stuff of Season 2. Looking forward to more of that. I'm all in." And then Seth MacFarlane says, "For me, the episode length is really one of the only things that makes the traditional broadcasting model frustrating at times. It forces you to cut every story to exactly 42 minutes. With all the work that we put in, I like having the option to let the Orville breathe a bit for Season 3. So basically what he's saying is he's no longer constrained to exactly 42-minute episodes. He can do 50-minute episodes. He can do 60-minute episodes. Heck, if he wanted to, he could do 80-minute episodes. There is no set length that you have to fit for a broadcast or for a streaming service. In fact, if you look at Nicholas Winding Refn's latest Amazon original series, Too Old to Die Young, every episode in that series varies in length. Some of the episodes go as long as an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then the series finale or the season finale was actually like 30 minutes long. So there was it varied widely, and so you can get away with that type of stuff on streaming. Then MacFarlane goes on to reply to this guy, "Is there ever a case where the story is best served to be only 35, but you have to pad it out to get it to 42? Seth says, "That can happen too, yep. For shows like Family Guy, it's been pretty easy to work within the model over the years, but the Orville is a little tougher to wrangle in the edit bay with the limitations. The streaming model allows the story to dictate the length, so it's a good fit." Then Caroline Grace says, "Please make more serious episodes too. I love the humor, but the unexpected serious eps have potential to become something truly special." And Seth MacFarlane says, "Season 3 will up the stakes. Don't worry." I'm sure it will. Then here's another one. "Is the semi-serialized approach to the Orville storytelling going to change at all? For what it's worth, I love it. Good place between The Next Generation and something like The Expanse." Seth replies, "The semi-serialized, semi-episodic approach will stay as is. It'll be the same show you love, but this will allow us to make it flow more like a little movie each week." Then there's another one here. "The some time limit model has the advantage that it forces you to keep the plot moving and not slog ahead with meaningless scenes just because you can. Orville is great, and I would love a few extra minutes of greatness as long as the storytelling quality stays high." Seth MacFarlane replies, "That's the magic balance, yes. I think everything over an hour is too long in any case. But sometimes the difference of minutes can mean keeping or trimming a nugget of character. For example, there's a Claire revelation that was cut for time in Season 2. You'll find out in Season 3. So obviously Seth MacFarlane's very pleased with this change, just because not having that time constraint allows him to kind of be a little bit more freer with how he wants to tell the story. He doesn't have to fit everything into such a rigid structure for commercial sake. He can just, basically do what he wants. And it sounds like he's going to try to keep things under an hour, so we may get mostly 50-minute episodes is my guess for this. Now, that's on the creative end of things. So I'm very happy that creatively the Orville is going to get to take its time a little bit more, breathe, kind of explore things. It's going to be the same show, but it's just going to have more time to play with. But I want to go back to this thing here where basically he thanks 20th Century Fox Television and Fox Broadcasting Company, now Fox Entertainment. And if we go to the bottom of this article here, it kind of fills you in on what happened. So basically, for those of you who don't know, the Fox Studios, the company, basically got bought out by Disney, and Disney couldn't basically buy out all of Fox, because there was an issue going on with that in terms of antitrust, which I'll get into in a little bit. But basically it says, in the wake of the 21st Century Fox-Disney merger, 20th Century Fox Television became part of the Disney empire. So 21st Century Fox Television is kind of like the production company that Seth MacFarlane works alongside with to create his stuff, and that's where he had his development deal with. Then Fox Entertainment, which is basically the Fox network, the broadcast network, became part of the standalone entity Fox Corporation. And the reason that Fox, basically you might think that when you turn on the TV and you watch the Fox network, that Disney owns that now, and that's not true. And the reason that's not true is because Disney owns ABC Network, and it's illegal under US law for Disney to own more than one broadcast network. So basically, because Disney owns ABC, they were not able to own Fox Entertainment and bring them under their umbrella. So basically, when Disney acquired Fox, it didn't acquire all of its assets. It didn't acquire its sports networks. It didn't acquire its news networks. So Fox News is not owned by Disney. Those were kind of spun off into their own separate company, which is called Fox Corporation. And the Fox broadcast network is part of that business. So Disney doesn't own that. And because the Fox network is where the Orville was playing, that's where it was broadcast from, my thinking is that Disney was looking at this like, we don't want to have, this property that we own on a competing network, especially considering the fact that they have all these other options that are coming out with the streaming services. So they could have either decided to move it over to ABC, or they could move it to one of their streaming platforms. And they've got Disney Plus coming out. They've got Hulu, as referenced in this article. They've basically bought out Hulu and own it outright now. And they also have the ESPN streaming service. So that's 3 streaming services. Obviously, it wouldn't go on ESPN. But Hulu is already established, and that's kind of what they've announced, is they're using Hulu to do more adult fare, to do stuff that involves cursing, sex, controversial issues, things like that. Whereas the Disney Plus service is going to be a little bit more family-friendly. It's going to focus on adventure entertainment, stuff like Marvel and things of that nature. But it's also going to be really geared for kids with a lot of Disney content. So they're basically using Hulu as the adult version of Disney Plus. And because it's already going, and because it doesn't need to be launched, because as of this recording, Disney Plus has not launched yet, it was the best fit for the Orville, because basically they didn't want to continue putting it on Fox Entertainment. And I'm sure that the production things, like Seth MacFarlane said, the issues with not having it ready in time were a big factor. But I think from Disney's point of view, they're like, why don't we take it off of a network that we do not control, that we do not own, and move it over to something that we do control and we do own. So basically, they just decided to slap it on Hulu. And from a business point of view, I think that Disney's looking at this as like, hey, great, this is more content for Hulu. They know that the Orville has a dedicated and hardcore fan base, and they're going to be, putting it on the streaming service and growing its subscriber base just based off of that. Which, from a business standpoint is good, because that recurring subscription revenue is really the thing that all these studios are going after now with the launching of their own streaming platforms. And if you look at CBS's model of using Star Trek to kind of pull in Star Trek fans into a subscription model, that was very profitable for them. That was able to get their streaming service launched. And Disney's kind of following suit with that with the Orville to a certain extent. And I think that as a studio executive looking at this, they're like, oh, this is a great idea. As a fan, I'm not so sure about that, because even though it frees up the Orville to be more creative and to take its time a little bit more from a creative standpoint, and it also, from a business standpoint, makes sense to, have it be content on the streaming service, there's now a paywall there. And I think one of the reasons why the Orville took off like it did was because it was freely available on broadcast TV. Pretty much anyone who wanted to watch this show could watch it. And I think that that's a big reason why Star Trek kind of became what it became, which was that, you know, anyone could watch this stuff. It was on broadcast television. And when you get into syndication, the syndication really helps extend the life of a TV show. And original content for streaming services don't do syndication. Like, they don't disseminate out into other TV markets. And I don't even think most of them do DVDs. I think that they're basically confined to the streaming network that they're on. So in a way, this move to Hulu kind of takes away one of the biggest benefits that the Orville had going for it against Star Trek, which was behind a paywall now, which was that it was just out there. It was available for anyone to discover, anyone to enjoy, anyone to basically become a fan of. And now that it's moving behind a paywall, you know, it's kind of already, it's bringing its established fan base with it, but not everyone who is a fan of the Orville is going to be able to afford or want to sign up for Hulu. So that's a little bit worrisome for me in the sense that if season 3 doesn't really get the viewing numbers to justify a season 4 on Hulu, Disney may decide to cancel it, and I don't want it to be canceled. I want lots and lots of Orville. I want at least 7 seasons in a movie, you know, and maybe a couple spinoffs. But you know, that's just the reality of this is that the Orville may creatively be better on Hulu, but financially, I'm not so sure. I don't know if Hulu is going to be able to bring in the viewership numbers that would justify Orville's extended production time and increased cost or what have you. But I guess we'll see. I'm hopeful. I believe in Seth MacFarlane's vision for this show. 20th century or 21st Century Fox, which is now part of Disney, the people there seem to be really behind him. So he's probably got a lot of support and goodwill in there. And Disney, probably just for his animation prowess, wants to keep him happy as well. So I'm guessing that the Orville will be safe for now, but I do think that it's kind of like a strange move to put it on Hulu. But what do you guys think of this news? Are you going to be subscribing to Hulu just to check out the Orville? Do you think it's going to hurt the series in the long run? Let me know in the comments section, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also check me out at kadishbooks.com if you want to check out my own novels. And that'll take you right to my Amazon page. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll catch you later.